Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. As always, we're going to give a couple of minutes for everyone to join in, and we'll get started at 10:02. Hope everyone is doing well this morning. And if you can think of any future Cosmo Campfire topics, please feel free to put the ideas in the chat. I'm more than interested to see some of the topics that you guys would like to see covered. We have a couple more seconds for everyone joining in, and then we'll go ahead and get started on the project status report. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Again, thank you everyone for joining into this Cosmo Campfire on the project status report. I am your host, Lexi. I cover off all of our customer success and support within Mission Control. I've been with Aprika for almost 2 years now, and in the Salesforce ecosystem for almost 4. So I'm really excited to cover off this topic. I know there's a lot of questions around getting this feature set up. So on the agenda, we'll cover off how to set up the report, how you can customize what's included, as well as demonstrate how to send the project status report automatically to your project stakeholders. And then as usual, if you have any questions during the demo, please feel free to enter them in the chat or the Q&A box, and we'll have time to review them at the end of the call. Also, we have like an open session at the end of the call. So if you have other mission control questions, I'll be more than happy to help you with those as well. All right, so objectives. We want to be able to generate the project status report manually and personalize the branding of the report, and then learn how to include and exclude the dependencies for time logs, the Gantt chart image, any issues, risks, and change requests. And then we can select which issues and risks and change requests will be included in the report, as well as distributing the report automatically to project stakeholders. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So today we'll be working with this project called RipCurl, and I just want to show you a few of the setup pieces that we have here. So going straight into the mission control console, we're going to go to the control pad and make sure that our project status report is activated. So in order to have the report distributed to your project stakeholders, you'll need to have this activated, and you'll also want to specify a day and time for this to run, and then go ahead and save. Okay, another thing to note in the control pad is that your company logo that is selected from the Gantt chart settings will be the logo that's displayed on your project status report. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at that now. So to manually view your project status report, you can select the drop down in your buttons here on your project, and then you're going to select Preview Status Report. Okay, so you're going to see that I've already customized this report quite a bit. Okay, so some first things to notice on this first page is that my company logo is in the top left corner here. And then I also have the customer logo here, so I'll show you how to update that. as well as your hero image to the right here. In the control pad in the Gantt chart settings, that's how we get our company image here. But just going to our project, on the detail tab of the project, and in the settings here, so I've defined my account and my contact so that that information is populated on the project status report. And then for my customer logo, I'm going to want to populate the logo URL in this field here in order to display the customer logo. Now, in order to do that, I did have to upload the image to the documents. So documents is an object that can only be found in Salesforce Classic. So to switch to Salesforce Classic, I just selected my profile icon and then select switch to Salesforce Classic. And then I went to the documents object and selected the folder that I've saved my image in. So I'll go ahead and open that folder. I've already uploaded my image here, and I made sure that it's externally available. So that way, when other users click on the project status report, they'll be able to see the report without being a Salesforce user in your org. Okay. Now, another thing is, in order to save this image, you'll need the URL. So you won't use this URL for the actual file. What you'll do is right click and you can either copy the image address, or what I like to do for safety is open the image in a new tab. So now that I've opened just this image, this is the image URL that I would like to copy and paste in my field here. All right, and that's going to be the same for my hero image. So I'm just going to scroll down to my project status report settings, and the hero image, like I said, I want to right click on the image. So I have a default here. I want to right click on the image, copy this image address, or open this image in a separate tab, and then paste that into the hero image. Okay. So another thing from the project status report settings, you want to make sure the generate weekly status project status report is marked true if you're going to be sending this to project stakeholders. If there's a certain time period that you would like to display on your status report, you can specify that here in your start and end date. And what that is going to do is only show items between that date in your project detail and summary pages on your project status report. All right, now in your settings here, this is where you will choose to include your Gantt chart, include your time logs, issues, risks, and your change request. And so just one more thing you'll want to make sure is that when you're including your Gantt chart, you'll need to save an image of the Gantt chart. And to do so, you'll have to hit PNG export on your Gantt chart, and that's going to save a picture of your Gantt chart. Okay. And then one more thing to note, the user that is the project owner is the person that the contact information at the bottom of the project status report is going to display. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of my status report, and it says, you know, a phone number and an email. That's going to come from the project owner. Okay, so the information specified on that user's record. Okay. If it's a contact, it'll just display from their contact as well. So you can see customer image, company image is displayed here as well. And if we scroll up, we have our Gantt chart image, being that we took the snapshot. And then if we have any risks, any issues, which I don't have, and then any time logs if I don't have one here. So just starting at the top of the report, let's scroll down and see what we can view on here. So you'll have your project summary, which is going to give you a project completion percentage. That's the overall percentage that we have made to date on the project. Since I haven't logged time against this project, I have a 0% completion percentage. And as you can see, the completion percentage for my milestones is 0, and I have 0 out of 6 tasks complete for this project. The overall project status is planned, and the start and end date for the project is displayed here as well. So you get a quick rundown of any issues, risks, and change requests, as well as if there were any hours logged against this project last week. All right, so now getting into the project detail, we have the ability to display some custom fields here. If you want to include an additional 5 custom fields, and I will show you where to set that up in just a second. And then just getting a tree style breakdown of our project. So this top line is going to be our project. Our blue lines are going to be our milestones or our phases of the project. And then the pink lines will be our actions. And then if you have any checklist items, they will display on here as well. And that will be all for our project status report. Okay, so if you want to display extra fields or custom fields on your project detail, you'll need to add them to the project status report field set. And to navigate there, you'll need to go to your project object. So I'm in setup. And then I went to my object manager. I've searched for the project object. And then I select the field sets. And then in the project status report detail fields, here is where I will start to select additional fields that I would like displayed here. So you can just drag and drop if you want to show any additional fields here. So maybe my hours remaining billable or my hours remaining non-billable and so on. So you just drag and pull down those fields there, okay? Another field set, so that would be for the detail fields. The status report fields for your project will be its own field set. So again, you'll just drag and drop any of the fields that you would like to display. But for your milestone and your action, your milestone, action, and checklist item, you'll need to go directly to those objects, and they're going to have their own field set for the status report fields. And then again, you just drag and drop any of the fields that you would like to display for that object, and then so on with your action and your checklist items. You'll just go to your status report fields and select which of the fields are being displayed. So I'm going to remove those and save, and then we'll see how this affects the report here. Okay, so I have removed the custom fields for just the action. So as you can see, for just the action, the fields that I removed from the field set are no longer displaying. So that's how you're going to customize that. Okay. Now you can also choose to include or exclude individual line items here. So say we have an internal action that I would like to remove from the display. Then what I'll do is I'll go to that item and I'll hit edit. And then there is an exclude from status report field. So I can exclude that from the status report. I can also exclude any risks and issues by marking this field on the item false. So I'll show you this field is called include on the weekly status report. So if I wanted to include it, I'll make sure that's true. And then if I wanted to exclude it, of course, I'll make that false. Okay. All right, so now that we've gone through setting up and including all of our different items, as well as our branding for the status report, you'll want to know how to automatically distribute that. Okay, and that's going to come from your related list on your project. So I'm just going to scroll down to my related list. And there's a project stakeholder related list, okay? This is here on my project level. And what I'll do is I'll add a new project stakeholder. So this person is going to be external. You can choose to add chatter followers, add to the chatter followers, but you'll want to make sure they're receiving the project status report. And then you're going to relate this to a contact, a user, or a role. And this is going to be a mission control role, not your Salesforce role. So the, of course, since it's external, they're not going to be a user. We're just going to select a contact here, good old McFanning, and save. And so Mick Fanning has an email on his contact record. And once, the process runs to generate that weekly status report, he will receive that report directly. Okay. So that wraps up for our status report. Are there any questions? All right, so I have one question coming in, not related to the project status report. It says, could you please explain to us what variables Mission Control takes to calculate the cost performance index, the CPI? So the CPI, this indicator will identify how the project milestone or action is performing against scheduled revenue. So the higher the score, the better you're performing. So that means you're delivering the work more efficiently than you scheduled it to be delivered. So this will take into account the earned value and the actual cost on your project. So that'll be like the earned value divided by the actual cost will result in your cost performance index. So the result of that formula, if it equals 1, then your project is running exactly to budget. If it's lower than 1, then you're running over budget. And if it's over 1, then you are likely to deliver the project under budget. So 1 or higher would be better. Show an example. Okay, I might need this set up here. So you'll want to make sure your action progress tracking is turned on and your breakpoints are established. Okay. I might not have this set up all the way. Since this is a dev org. Okay. So my cost performance index for all of my projects, it's going to break down. So for the project that we were on, I have a template set up, and of the recognized revenue for that project, the master cost performance index is set at 1.03. I can view a breakdown of the phases within that project and how the cost performance is running. Also, if I navigate directly to that project, even though it's a template, on the Insights tab, you'll be able to see this breakdown for the project as well. So if I go to the detail on that project, the earned value, this information can be viewed from the revenue recognition tab on that project as well. I have another question coming in. If I wanted to add a completely brand new field into my status report, would I have to create that field within a section in the project page in order for the status report to pull that information from somewhere? So if you have a custom field and it is on your project object, then you'll need to go to your field set on your project in order to display it. So if it's something that you want displayed on your detail page, then you will select the item from here. If it's something that you want to be shown on your individual project line, once you go into the breakdown, if you want it displayed here as a field, then it will be added to the other field set, the status report field set. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right, so it says I saw where you could add additional fields. But is there a way to take out some of the defaults that are contained in the report? So the default fields that are included on your status report, the things that will be default are what's included here. So all of the percentage. For example, I might want to take out actions and checklists, but leave milestones. Got it. Okay, so if you wanted to exclude all of your actions, what you would do is go to your actions for your project. And you'll select that exclude from project status report. And that field is going to be available on your checklist items as well. So you can exclude all of your actions and checklists. You can do all of that at once from your create actions page as well. Is there a way to set the exclude from as a default? That can be done within your Salesforce settings. So you can also set up some automation behind this. So say, for instance, there are certain factors on the project that will determine whether it's excluded from the status report or not. You can have a process builder automatically check or uncheck that field as well. So right now the default value is unchecked, but you can change that on your page layout as well. Can you show again where to upload your logo in the control pad? All right, so going back to the mission control pad, control pad, console. So in the mission control console, in your control pad, you're going to scroll down to your Gantt chart settings. So this is going to display your logo right at the top here of your Gantt chart settings. So you'll just select a folder and then select your file name. And then you'll make sure you save your Gantt settings directly from here. If you exclude the action, do the child checklist items get excluded too? Or do you need to check one by one? Great question. So if you exclude a parent item, the child items will be removed based on the exclude from project status report indicator. So if a parent option, for instance, like a milestone is marked to be excluded, then all of the actions and checklist items under that have an indicator field that will also be marked true. So those will be excluded as well. Great questions. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Any other questions? I'll allow a couple more minutes just in case anyone else comes up with any questions. And we can go ahead and wrap up for today. All right, well, thank you. Oh, I think I might have missed one question. If you clone a project, do the same images show up on the cloned project? Yes. So if you have those fields populated on your project, they will also show up on your clone project if that project is marked as a template. Another question. Can you go over what can be configured from the project status report section on the detail page within the project? What can be configured? So from the details section of your project, you will configure your customer's logo. So from the logo URL, your customer's logo, your hero image. So that's the larger image to the right of your project status report. Whether your Gantt chart, time logs, issues, risk, and your change requests are included. And then the date of information. So you can select a time frame of information. So say, for instance, I only want to see the action, milestones, and checklist items for this month. And then if I want the project status report to generate weekly. So that's all of the settings here. And then if I refresh, You can see because I changed the start and end date, none of the milestones that I have on my project are within that time frame. But I might have one action that's within that time frame. So that will be the only other thing that is changed when I modify the details on the project. Awesome. All right, did I miss anyone else's questions? If we want the status report to automatically send weekly, but only show details for the current week, we need to manually adjust those dates. That's correct. You can have that automated. So if you use tools like process builders or workflow rules, then you can say, the start date would be the start of this current week, and the end date would be the end of this current week. Otherwise, if you don't have any process set up like that, you'll have to manually enter it. Awesome. Great, this is a pretty interactive session. Just going to put up the links for support. So if you have any support requests or questions, please feel free to submit them to support@aprika.com, or you can submit a ticket on our website, as well as some resource materials here. We have our user guide and training videos on the website. Our knowledge base is a pretty cool tool to use, as you can just search in keywords and find tons of knowledge articles on many different subjects. And then of course our release notes for our new and upcoming releases. We have a learning portal, and then our chatter group or Salesforce group. We post updates regarding bug fixes there. So please feel free to check that out. And I want to thank everyone for joining in. Our next Cosmo Campfire subject will be about budget management. So that budget tab on your project. Please feel free to send over any other suggestions for future Cosmo Campfires, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining in. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, the recording from today will be sent out. I also want to show you guys quickly, you can access the recordings on our website as well. We have a whole section called Cosmo Campfires on our website. Once this loads, where you can sign up for the next Cosmo Campfire, as well as view our previous Cosmo Campfires. All the recordings will be here as well. Very welcome. Sure, I'll send you a link right now regarding the PMO dashboard. Thank you again, everyone, for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day.